the midway point of the Premier League season. Let's go through a list our top 3 players so far this season. Targo, there's so many to choose from.
So many, man.
So many. If you can, give me
I'll try.
Your top 3.
I'll try. It's tough. Like I know someone's gonna be like, well, why didn't you pick this person? Why didn't you pick them? I probably could have.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones. But honestly, I think one of the top steals this season was Casemiro to Man United from Real Madrid. I think he has improved that team tremendously. He's been playing fantastic as that defensive midfielder. He's played in 15 matches. He's even got a couple goals, 3 assists. But as we know, that's not where a majority of his work gets done. It's on the defensive end, and he has been a rock for Manchester United back there.
Yeah, a few fun stats for you. He's played 15 Premier League games for United. They've won 11 of them. They've only conceded 8 goals. He's got 88 recoveries and 92 duels won. So you're right.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. And then my number 2 player in the Premier League right now, so far, for the halfway through the season, is going to be Ivan Toney from Brentford. The guy is on fire. He's played in 17 matches. He's got 13 goals and 3 assists. So that's 16 goal contributions in 17 games. And that is amazing. And it's showing in Brentford's, where they're at in the Premier League, in 8th place, which is fantastic for Brentford. You know, we talked about what their ceiling is. They're on top of the roof at this point. So we'll see if they can keep it up, if they can hold on to him. And if he can stay healthy, I think Brentford are looking really good here for the next couple of years.
I agree. I mean, he seems to be a man on fire, and every match is looking like a nice kickabout with the boys. So
that's right. And then my number 1, as a non-biased Arsenal fan, has to be Martin Odegaard. The guy has been tearing it up. He's played in 17 matches. He's got 8 goals, 5 assists, and he's just been pivotal for Arsenal, showing up in these big games, which was a big criticism of his, as he tended to disappear in the big games. But we saw it against Tottenham. He gets a goal, and so he's playing really good. He played well against Liverpool when they played them, so he's showing up for the big games. And for me, he's my player of the Premier League right now so far.
Yeah, and I mean, fun fact, he's got 5 assists and 5 goals since the World Cup.
So yeah, he's been on a tear.
Yeah.
And then obviously I have some honorable mentions that I'd like to go through. I mean, I was debating between a couple, between Ivan Toney or Marcus Rashford. You know, I also wanted to maybe put a Miguel Almiron or a Alexander Mitrovic, but all those players have been playing well. I mean, you can look at Brighton, Pascal Gross, Trossard, Leandro Trossard. And then honestly, the whole Newcastle defense has been amazing. Kieran Trippier, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, Matt Target when he's been filling in. So yeah. But those are my 3. Martin Odegaard, Ivan Toney, Casemiro. Best players in the Prem so far this season.
Well, I'm going to start where you left off. You said a bunch of defenders for Newcastle. My first one I'm going to go with is Nick Pope. Man has been possessed this season.
So would he be your number 3 pick or number 1?
He is my number 3 pick.
Okay.
He's allowed 11 goals, has the same amount of clean sheets, hasn't conceded a goal in 11 hours of Premier League play. I know, it's a lot of 11s. Got 50 saves, which ranks him 12th. And then an interesting one, he's got 18 high saves, which are ones that are essentially above the goalie's shoulders. He's been on fire, and a lot of his play and his organization of his defense has been why Newcastle have been so successful this season. My number 2, I could have gone with so many people. I wanted to. I had to go with someone from Arsenal, and I'm going to go with their linchpin and their rock. A surprise to most people, I'm going to go with Thomas Partay. The man dictates how Arsenal plays. Arsenal are top of the table. He is the reason why they are so well going forward. Granted, he had a kind of I wouldn't say the best performance against Tottenham. But he's been there all season, finally healthy. He's been on fire.
Arsenal player. They're in first place. It's hard not to pick some of these Arsenal players.
I agree. I mean, you could have picked Martinelli, Saka,
Xhaka's been
Ramsdale,
playing like Saliba. You can't recognize him.
Yeah. But as far as Thomas Partay goes, he's got 2 big goals. There's only 2. Almost had another one this weekend. He's got 54 accurate long balls over the defense. Got 116 recoveries, 72 duels won, and 23 clearances. I mean, you put Casemiro on here, he's got 20 more duels, but he's got 30 recoveries less. So, I mean, you could have gone either way. Both of them are very impressive this season as linchpins of their defense, midfield and defense. But I had to go with Thomas Partay. If he gets hurt for Arsenal, I don't know what's going to happen. And then number 1, I went with everybody's favorite. This one's boring. I picked Erling Haaland. The guy's got 21 goals and 3 assists in 17 games. That's just it's nuts. Him. It's nuts. He's a machine and a robot, but he does make Manchester City very one-dimensional. So how he affects the team going forward, it'll be interesting to see. They're starting to look like Julian Alvarez is actually a better fit up front than Erling Haaland is as far as making them multi-dimensional. But I mean, he scores 1.24 goals a game.
Yeah, that whole Man City offense looks amazing. I mean, look at Kevin De Bruyne. He's got 3 goals and 10 assists in 18 matches, and Phil Foden's got 7 goals and 4 assists. So they're filled with talent in that Man City attack.
Yeah. But I think the biggest one for me is, I mean, Haaland has 21 goals, but he's got 12 big chances missed. That would put him as the record holder in the Premier League for goals in a season if he puts all of those away. The guy is just there all the time around the goal, sniffing out chances. But he's my pick for number 1. I wanted to go with, Bukayo Saka. William Saliba was right on the edge for me. He's transformed that Arsenal defense.
Saliba at the beginning of the season was doing really well. He's kind of dropped off, I feel like, a little bit in the past few games. But he's, I don't think anyone expected him to perform that good.
Yeah. And then as far as players you didn't mention as honorable mention, because I don't need to repeat you, because we could have said any of them. Harry Kane.
So many.
Harry Kane, 15 goals, 1 assist, 8 big chances created, 6 big chances missed.
He's just always there. Like, you expect that from Harry Kane, though.
That's
why it's almost he's just having a regular season.
Which is crazy, because if you put him in the Golden Boot race last season and at this point had 15 goals, you'd be like, wow, Harry Kane's having a great season. But Erling Haaland has overshadowed him so much that no one's talking about him. Another one, you got Kaoru Matoma. He's really impressed me this season. His stats don't say otherwise, but he, for Brighton, looks like a game changer. And then Bruno
fun to watch, too.
Yeah. Bruno is also on my list. The United's offense isn't as good without him. So that's what I have. And I'm not going to repeat what you said as far as players, because
there's so many.
Pretty much go through anybody essentially 8th and up and find at least one player on every team that could be a discussion for player of the season.
Really could. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Brews and Banter. As always, make sure you guys check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Brews and Banter FC. Check out our Redbubble account for merch. And hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Cheers.
Cheers.